Border Patrol agents are overwhelmed with the massive influx of illegal immigrants. The number are like anything we've ever seen. Border Patrol saying they have encountered 12,000 illegal immigrants on the southern border. That's on Tuesday alone. That's the highest daily total ever. Senator Lindsey Graham with this message for President Biden.
If you're awake, you better come up with a solution to a broken border before a bunch of people get killed. This is a national security disaster in the making.
Bill Melugin is at the border in Lukeville, Arizona. He is near a huge group of illegal immigrants now waiting to be processed. This matter just getting worse by the day, Bill.
It is, Julie, and CBP sources tell me in the last 24 hours alone, there have been just short of 10,000 migrant encounters here at our southern border. More than 3,000 of those happening right here in this Tucson, Arizona sector. We'll show you the situation here in Lukeville, Arizona, middle of nowhere, southern Arizona desert, 2 hours to the closest major city, where people continue to cross here illegally from all over the world. You can see the demographics here. All these guys, adult men, a lot from African countries. We talked to guys who came in from Mauritania, Morocco, Liberia, India, Syria, all over the place. Many of them telling us they first flew into South America, then traveled through a big handful of countries to get into Mexico, then went right through Mexico to the border here with the U.S., where they've crossed illegally, and they are expecting to be released into the United States and all have cities where they would like to go. We'll show you what it looked like earlier this morning. Take a look at this. Before the sun came up, we were shooting this video. It gets cold out here, so these migrants start campfires all over the place in an effort to stay warm. They'll go into the desert and pull brush out, light it up. They'll find trash. Basically anything they can find to stay warm out here, because it does get pretty chilly. And some of these guys have been camping out here for several days waiting for Border Patrol to process them. We talk about the nonstop flow here. Take a look at this video we shot late yesterday afternoon. There was another breach in the border wall, and you'll see masses of hundreds of people crossing illegally and then walking down the dirt path on this border wall right to where I'm standing giving you this live shot. Border Patrol is overwhelmed. They're trying to process people out of here as fast as they can, but it's hard because there is a never-ending supply of people coming through the border wall and crossing here illegally. We've had a chance to talk to a lot of the guys out here. Almost all of them have said they are not seeking asylum. They're here for opportunity, for work in the United States, or they want to link up with their family, and they all have cities they're planning to go to here. Take a listen. Where in the United States do you want to go?
Detroit.
California.
New York City.
Nueva York.
New York City. I have family members there.
Miami.
¿Y a dónde vas en los Estados Unidos? ¿Qué ciudad?
Omaha.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Miami.
Uma.
Oklahoma?
Igual.
Sur Carolina.
Español? Okay. And back out here live, you can see some of these guys down here. ¿De dónde son? Ecuador. ¿Y a dónde vas en los Estados Unidos? New York, New Jersey, ¿dónde? Chicago. All right, so you hear there, just a few blue cities right there. They're saying it's very cold. They don't have anything to cover their faces. A lot of them have been asking us for food. So you hear it right there, guys. All these migrants have different cities in the U.S. they'd like to go to. We hear a lot of those sanctuary cities, New York City and Chicago. We'll send it back to you.
Well, all right, Bill Melugin, thank you very much. Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa, members of the Armed Services Committee, and a U.S. Army combat veteran joins me now. I want to talk to you about, the issue, first of all, at the border. The migrant crossing, obviously is surging to historic levels. 12,000 illegal immigrants crossing the border on Tuesday alone. What does that tell you?
Well, it tells me that President Joe Biden, on the first day that he came into office, he made a grave mistake by getting rid of the previous administration's policies. He President Biden threw open the door to the United States of America. Now we have this humanitarian crisis at the border with, as you stated, over 12,000 people now per day entering the United States illegally. There is no way to process all of these people. And of course, we know that simply stating you want a job in the United States of America is not a reason for asylum. So again, we had some of those policies right in the previous administration. President Joe Biden needs to own up to this, admit that he was wrong, and reinstate the policies of the past and allow us as Senate Republicans to proceed with our border policy changes.
There are major Senator City is also struggling with a mass migrant influx. A new poll actually shows 85% of New York City voters are concerned about the city accommodating migrants. And in Massachusetts alone, hotels there have actually canceled bookings of veterans and their families for the Army-Navy football game being played in Foxborough this weekend. And those rooms are actually instead housing, you guessed it, migrants. And Senator, tell us about the letter that you wrote this week to the Biden administration demanding action.
Yes, these border patrol, the border policies that Biden has in place, which allowed all of these migrants to come into the United States, has now created an issue even this weekend at America's game, which is the Army-Navy game. We know that Massachusetts has laws in place, one of which is the the right to shelter law, which provides shelter for those that are refugees or illegal migrants coming into the United States. So what's happening now? All of those families that are attending this game on behalf of their midshipmen or cadet, those Army veterans, those Navy veterans that will be attending, even active duty personnel that are flowing into the Boston, Massachusetts area, they have had their hotel reservations canceled. Why? Yes, because of illegal migrants that are being housed by the city, by the state, in these hotels where reservations had previously been made. So instead of watching in the comfort of a hotel room for this Army-Navy game, we're housing illegals.
Yeah, and you just heard Bill Maloogian speak with a few illegals there, and many of the states they wanted to travel to were Democratic cities. Why? Because they're getting free housing. We've got multiple beautiful former luxury hotels here in New York City that have been shut down and they've been handed over to these migrants. I got to move on to President Biden's green agenda. It took a big hit, as you know, last night, the House striking down his administration's mandate designed to speed up the transition to electric vehicles, something so many Americans don't want, nor can they afford. It wasn't just Republicans, though, who voted against Biden's EV push. 5 Democrats crossed the aisle to vote down the regulations. One Republican congressman with this.
The issue here is people are not choosing EVs yet. They don't think they're affordable. They don't think they're attainable. They don't think they're reliable, and it's not a reality for them. All we're asking is that people have choice, and that choice may be EVs, but don't mandate it.
I love he just said people need to have a choice, because don't Democrats echo that sentiment when it comes to women and many other things? You need to have a choice, but not when it comes to your vehicle. What in the heck? This makes no sense, and most people can't afford an electric vehicle, nor do they want to be bothered with having to find somewhere to charge it.
No, I am right there with you. I think it is absolutely ridiculous that this administration has been pushing electric vehicles on the American people. If you go to my home county of Montgomery County in southwest Iowa, really rural area, no, EVs are not reliable. There is nowhere to charge them. You can't drive to a city without needing a charge. And of course, the cost, it is more than most families of 4 in my hometown make in a year. So, of course, we are pushing back on the EV mandate, and I'm glad to see House Republicans take up that charge. I have been working, literally, no pun intended, that charge, but I have been pushing back on this in the Senate for a very long time. You know, we don't need to source these cars that have materials that are built or brought in from China. These batteries that are made with child and slave labor. Really, is this what we're trying to push on the American people? I think not, and the House has spoken.
All right, Senator Joni Ernst, thank you. You have spoken as well, and we appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. See you next time.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.